there yesterday. You know, I took part in the what do you call it, Black Lives Matter show yesterday. You know what I mean? But I'm back today. I was getting my Martin Luther King on. You know, out there marching in these gaming streets. But I'm back today. But I'm back today. You know what I mean? So again, it's not the multiplayer. I got Jada, but I got, you probably gonna have some fussing. But I'm gonna give you guys something. There are a few things, that I wanted to talk about. Hold on one second. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, this way. Here we go. Damn. So anyway, as you guys come in, you know the routine. Please hit the like button. I got with me some of the usual. Moss, what's going on with you, good brother?
Man, just chilling, man. You inspired me yesterday. Had me at work thinking we shall.
I'm wild, I'm wild, bro. I'm wild,
Roblox is ready to give it to me, boy. Them Trump supporters about to beat my ass to the white meat, boy.
I'm wild, man. My boy be cutting up, man. My boy be shout out to nah, I ain't gonna say shout out to nobody, man. They asked for that. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Well, I guess we can talk, but even if we can talk a little bit now. You know, as the room was filling up, right? And as most people do, they go by the title of the video. You know, what is he a racist, or whatever the case may be. But if you watch the actual show, you took the time to watch the show, I never called him anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I said, even like I said during the show, that sometimes tweets and things can be taken out of context. You know what I mean? So the show was, like I said, almost about the tweet or whatever. And you know what I mean? I said, let him get some character witnesses. You know what I mean? And but he said he was drunk, so he still went into this thing on Blaze 4K, called me all types of cookie faces, and I don't have a job. I'm black, unemployed. He's more black shit, which is wild. He ain't making no better. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? But
so basically, that's racist.
I want to announce right here.
I hope not. I don't know, man.
I want to announce right here that I am officially the whitest man on the earth. So I'll put this out there because right now I'm sitting in my man cave.
Oh man!
In my 3,500 square foot home on acre land with my 5 bedrooms in the suburbs.
Let me tell you something.
And apparently that makes me Caucasian, according to certain people. I ain't gonna say who them people is.
Growing up in the hood and growing up in the hood in the community around black people don't make you black or don't give you the power to speak on black issues. I'm just gonna say it like that. And then you had a lot of dudes out there cooning.
Oh,
was accepting it. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be straight up with it because I'm rolling with my brothers on this, yo. Look, just because you grew up in the hood and went to a black school, don't give you the right to speak on black issues because you still got that bulletproof white skin on. That skin is bulletproof, but I ain't finna go no fucking.
And this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this real quick. This thing, and Kel said it in that show that he went in this super tip. If you think as a white male, white female that you can act black, that you can pretend to put on skin of a different race, that's the same shit as blackface. The only difference is you did that shit internally.
Talk about
it externally.
You internalizing your black.
Right. You internalizing your blackface.
Wait. What y'all trying to say? Folks out here trying to be Rachel Dolezal?
Wow. Talk about it. Talk about
it. I want to say this, right? Listen, that's a you problem. Now, again, I want to say this, right? Because before we move on, right? And I spent enough energy to that yesterday. Husa, you know what I mean? I lost 3 subscribers behind it. But listen, at the end of the day, I don't have an issue with anybody, you know what I mean? Whether you white, in a perfect world, I would look at everyone as people and as, you know, what you are or who you are, you know what I mean? And like I said, in the perfect world, I don't have anything, I'm not, you know what I mean? Next gen, your race, but, you know, I just asked the question. And as most people do in the community, something happens in the community, they use their platform to discuss what's going on within the community. Like I said, if you took time to watch the first show, I was reading the tweet and the context of the tweet and what maybe that he meant by it and what part maybe, you know, these people, what I mean, and what just that was the other part that, you know, if the black people were, it was a bunch of stuff, you know what I mean? And again, I didn't call him out and call him anything, and not that I care, nor did his tweet bother me. It was just So for what Nixon, you always know. But
nah,
it is what it is.
Z, we're gonna have to call it out like it is.
Man,
these dudes out here toeing the line because they concerned more so with their platform,
exactly,
than their culture and what's going on with their people. Oh, I'm not gonna talk about that because I might lose some subscribers, or Microsoft people might not want to come on my show. Who gives a fuck about that? When it comes to this, and that's what I like about you. Fuck that. This shit need to be talked about. We gonna talk about it. If you want to leave, leave. Whoever gonna stay. But we gonna talk about it.
The follow up on what Post Up said, like it was clear and evident. We're not gonna talk about dude. Something's wrong with dude. Okay, something's wrong with him. And then reading the thread, he talked about people getting bricked in the back of the neck or something like that. So he got a lot of animosity somewhere. But the thing is that the people that's cooning for this dude, because like Post Up said, to save their platform, that says a lot, and it says a lot about you if you want to continue to follow that coonery. Period.
Well, again, I want to say this. Like I said, he did say he was drinking. Actually, reached out to me last night, and I want to say I don't have a problem with dude. I don't dislike him. I don't have any. I say we'll call beef or there's no such thing. I said it was just a conversation. Trust me. I said my skin is thick. I've been doing this shit here long enough. Again, stuff doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? I just try not to be racist. But my kids and my family want to talk. I'm willing to have a conversation with just about anybody. I'm trying, right? But again, with that being said, sometimes we may be naive. How you say? I'll give you an example. This is gonna be all about me, right? How should I say, right? And what's why I don't use this word on air? And we're gonna get into the show. I promise, right? I have a saying where I say I'm an agate that loves gadgets. So you guys heard me say it over and over again. Before they came Wii U weirdos, I used to call them Wii U omos. You know what I mean? That was just, it is what it is. I had, and people ask me about, and I'm going to say this again for the record, right? Even though crap is a piece of shit. This when I first more or less got on Twitter, I may have had like 35 followers or something. I still had the emoji, right? You know what I mean? And when I, just because I didn't understand how Twitter worked, I had Facebook down pat. To me, Twitter was very stupid, right? And because of them, I got me. You need to get on Twitter. Get on Twitter. Make a long story short, when I woke up to Twitter, I had about 36 followers on Twitter, right? I might have been following 100 people and had about 35 followers, maybe 200 people, right? And I had about 80,000 mentions. I had the whole LBGT community up there because I said the word "omo." And again, where I'm from, when most of you in the city, we say that word freely. It has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. That's just something we say. You know what I mean? But again, the reason why I stopped using it on air because it's offensive to some people. You know what I mean? And how you say, and again, or someone saying how you say Jap crap or whatever. And I don't even know even saying the word Jap that may be as being, you know what I mean? Racist or whatever, whatever. And I don't really know anyone from the Asian culture, you know what I mean, that it may affect them, whatever type of way. So certain things I say, I try to restrain from saying it. Just, not that I'm placate to any crowd. It's just, hey, man, I'm a grown ass man, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to, we're here to talk about games, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So, so there's the reason why I don't say that on air, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. And again, shout out to Rev, like I said, he reached out to me. Through Blaze Clays last night. They went in PS and they wanted me to hop in. I wasn't home at the time, you know what I mean? So we may have a conversation. I don't have a problem with the dude, you know what I mean? It is what I think. I will say that I think the things that he put out there in his tweet and then the things that he said were very insensitive, you know what I mean? Or in the case of not knowing him or whatever, because I don't know the guy, you know what I mean? So maybe, what he was saying or whatever, maybe he may not be the guy or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to just come out and say he's this or say he's that because, again, I don't know him. I'm just going about what he said and how it came off. And I will say this again, sometimes tweets and texts can be taken out of context. I do all the time, you know what I mean? It is what it is, but neither here or there. We're going to try to
you guys. Lord have mercy.
Sure.
I agree with everything you just said, except for the fact that this motherfucker came out with actual words out of his own fucking mouth.
Okay.
After the fact. After the fact, he came out and started running his mouth.
But even with that said,
he had Sambo behind him. Right. Yes, sir. You did it. You said it. You right, sir. Like that was the part that I had a problem with.
But even with that said, Z, your point is well spoken. You never called him anything. Period.
Right. I don't know this dude from Adam, but every sentiment he echoed yesterday, I've heard that shit multiple times. I was in the military for 11 fucking years, and in the military, I've been in a whole bunch of countries where they didn't want us. I've been in a whole bunch of countries where they thought a black American was a curse from God. I've heard less racist shit from them than I did my fellow soldiers. Well, the culture that is here in America capitulates that type of mentality. And the fact that, because it's either he's the most ignorant motherfucker known to man, and he doesn't know what he did, like he doesn't understand or is able to grasp the context. And I hope that's it. I sincerely hope that's it. Or he is an underlying racist and doesn't know he's racist.
Man, you know what?
One of those two. And there's a possibility that he's so caught up in his fucked up perception of the world that he doesn't think he said anything wrong. No, and that's a possibility. No, it's this. But the problem is he kept confirming that shit.
We talk about this. We talk about this shit all the time, man. It's this religion effect. Okay, it's this Jesus effect that black people, whenever they're going through something, whenever they're being something negative or anything like that, that we supposed to just sit there, turn the other cheek, pray, and be hopeful. That the fact that slavery and everything we go through, just stop complaining. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all good. And just because I said this, y'all too emotional. Nah. Some people will sit back and fall back and turn the other cheek. But you have others that's gonna not turn the other cheek and that's gonna speak up. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get us all the time. I'm not finna turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't ask everybody else to do the same thing.
Well, okay. Well,
hold up, man. What's going on here, man?
Hey, what is going on? Mike making a multiplayer. That's all. I'm about to change it to that. What's up,
man came in with a glitter leotard on.
Let's give a round of applause.
Hold up.
What's good, Baron?
Hold up. I had to jump in here real quick because I knew y'all was going to talk about this. So I want everybody to let me have the floor so I can say peace on it.
All right.
Make first thing clear. Rev is not a racist. Okay? That's number one. Solid Rev is not a racist. Now, what he did, that's really no excuse for what he did. I don't think what he said makes him a racist. I know him for a long time on YouTube, and I don't believe he's a racist. He doesn't come off like that. But with that said, what he said is kind of what DRM said. You heard those same words that Rev said is the words you hear all the time when you're a black man growing up in America from a Caucasian male.
Yep.
You always hear about they're a little bit insensitive to what it's like growing up as a black man in America, and they really don't think we go through struggles. And I don't think that's just ignorance. It's just that they're uneducated about it because they don't live in it. You feel what I'm saying? They don't live as a black male in America. They live as a Caucasian male in America. So you can't get mad at them if they really don't understand the struggle of a black man in America and how we be kept down and all the other shit that goes on. You can't get mad at them. All you got to do is just educate them on it. So that really doesn't make Rev a racist. He's just uneducated about the situations that black men go on in America and the things that
he's not uneducated if he went to a school in the hood.
Let me ask you a question. Hey, Baron, let me ask you a question. I'm going to give you guys a gaming show today. I don't even want to talk about this again. Let me ask you a question. Now, you know him. I guess you're an old school guy. You're older than me. You've been around this YouTube community for a very long time, right? So let me ask you, since you know him, I mean, you don't get that from him. But if you didn't know him, or reading that tweet, or even listen, I also said this. I don't know if you've been following what's going on. I said that tweets and text can be taken out of context. I said that. numerous times, and no word did I call him anything. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, but it really made it look kind of bad as what he responded to the following day.
Look, that's exactly what I'm saying. I want to repeat myself so people don't misconstrue what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right.
I'm saying Solid Rev is not a racist. I don't feel like he's a racist.
Okay.
But I'm also saying at the same time, what he said was not correct and it was wrong.
Facts.
Because he doesn't understand the totality of what he said because he doesn't live as a black man.
Mhm.
That's the difference. And he wouldn't know that because he's not a black man. He's a Caucasian man.
Okay.
So in his eyes, he thinks we're all equal. I really truly believe that's what he believes. He thinks we're all the same. We're all equal. But in reality, in America, we are still not treated as equal.
No.
Okay.
That's what.
Well, I mean, let me say this. I agree with Baron. I agree with Baron that technically you can't consider what he said racist because the textbook definition of racist, if we're going to be technical, is someone that thinks that their particular race is better than another race. In his own words, he said we're all equal. Okay, so we'll give him that. With that being said, we're letting this situation off the hook, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because we got a gaming show. But we're letting him off the hook a little bit by saying he don't know, he don't understand. I am not a Middle Eastern person, but I can understand. I don't completely understand, but I can understand some of the difficulties that they have. Sometimes you can be so selfish and so self-centered that you block out the plights of others just for your own self-absorbed reasons. So we can't let that off the hook. And I don't have the biggest problem with him. He has issues. The problem that I have are the people like us that sat there and tried to make an excuse for like, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. If you don't want to call him a racist, that's fine. But you got to point out that there was an issue with what he said, and the people that were in that coonery that were trying to make it seem like there's nothing to see here, they got an issue. They got a bigger issue.
I just want to say this big thing before we promise the game and stuff was about to start. To be prejudiced and biased is totally different from racism. Racism is something that's when you can affect another's race, creed, or whatever, financially, educationally, that's throughout generations,
systematically.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Generationally, they will affect my kids. Their kids, they can. That's something different, as far as racism, and but you can be prejudiced, or you may have your own personal bias towards you might for certain people, you know what I mean, or saying white people mess my dog, or Spanish people eat rice, and you know what I mean. That's more like being like. So again, I didn't call the guy because I don't know the guy, you know what I mean. I will say this, and I promise the show's about to start. What he said yesterday, if you know what I mean, again, not saying that I was offended. But if just by reading that, and that's why I asked whoever, reading that, and you didn't know him, Baron, what would you have thought? Just by those things, these black dudes, because he said he was talking about an in particular person. So again, it's like saying I'm just last thing. I had a Mexican guy mowing my lawn, right? And say he ran off with my lawnmower, right? But we ran off with my wife and my lawnmower. And started saying how man took my shit and he took my wife. These Mexican dudes, every time they mow them up, you know what I mean? So that's when I like, what those, like, because again, cool. But it wasn't just so much that goddamn tweet was loaded. You know what I mean? That, there are more white developers and this, that, and the other. Well, again, which is not true. If you look at the most popular franchises to this day, Mario Brothers was made by a Japanese guy. You know what I mean? Or Solid Snake was made by a Japanese guy. I mean, it was white, but again, that's again not the issue. There are, I would say, even talking about as far as race, not only the company, to me, I know more Middle Eastern people here that are game developers. You know what I mean? That I know, that I've had a chance to meet. But again, that's not. And again, I don't know the guy personally, but again, you kind of sit back and scratch your head because again, saying which I think is very ignorant, just because you grew up poor makes you more blackened, or these self-proclaimed black people. To me, that's saying if I grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, that makes me more white than you. That again, I know that you said that you know him. You know what I mean? You have to sit back and sit like, what the fuck? Just because you're poor? And to be fair, like I said again, I gave it context. Like I gave it context. There are more white people on welfare in North America than minority, and this is a fact. That does not make them less white because they're going through a financial crisis. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, that was a very ignorant statement. You know what I mean? But so it is what it is. But So,
but here's the answer to your question.
Can I say something?
Let me answer this question so he can understand what I'm saying. Once again, because you got to repeat stuff because people listen and they don't understand stuff. I do not agree with what he tweeted. Even if y'all could go through and see my response, I said, Rev, you wildin', because what he tweeted was just asinine and ridiculous. But me knowing him, I knew I kind of figured where he was trying to go, but he said all the wrong words. Period. It's just simple as that. You cannot damage control for that.
I can agree with that.
Words. But here's the thing: how you look at it. What he said, it was kind of like, similar to saying like Saudi Arabian women are one and the same as American women. But we know that's false because we know Saudi women are treated way differently than American women are treated. You know what I mean? And people wouldn't and some people are like, Baron, what are you talking about? Well, some people don't know how Saudi Arabian women are treated because they don't live over there. They're not in that culture. And if you don't study it, you don't know how they're fighting for their rights and all that other stuff. And that's kind of like how I put in the situation with Rev. If he doesn't live it and he's not in it, he's really not in tune to what is really going on. So you just see a person, regurgitate the stuff that they hear out in society. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm not negating that. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing.
All right.
Here's the
promise
thing.
after this game talk, ladies and gentlemen. I promise.
Go. Right after this, let me say this real quick. Here's the thing, right? Because I see a lot of people who, obviously, people who are trying to. I'm not going to say damage control, but people who try to take up for Rev. But a lot of these people are white, right? So I'm looking at the comments and I'm seeing them. Oh, he's not racist. He's not. Honestly, I don't believe he's racist. But again, I don't know him enough to know his background or to know, what he feel or what his opinions are. But in a situation like this, when you're talking about race, for a lot of these guys, especially in the chat section, a lot of white guys trying to take up, your opinion means jack, because for one, you're not black, and who are you to tell black people how they should feel on a subject pertaining to this, right?
They do that all the time.
Yeah, but you trying to tell somebody, oh, he's not. Oh, they did the same thing with that happened at PewDiePie and the rest of these guys, right? Anytime they say something or they say the N-word or whatever, a drove of them come out and say that. But guess what? They are not the ones who. They're not the ones on the opposite end who are being offended. So I think they should just kind of sit back and chill and just ride this one out. Now,
I would say,
let me go ahead and say that Z was right. There's a difference between being prejudiced and being racist. I think what Rev said, obviously, was asinine what he was saying. He said what he said, but he was trying to get out some different words and it came out wrong. And that is typically going to happen, right? Anytime you mention anything about race, as a white person, you're always going to be on the losing end, right? It's just don't even try it. Just don't do it. Just flat out don't do it, because you just there's no nice way to do that without offending, because you're going to end up in this situation. He's trying to make it better, but every time he basically speaks on this subject, he sinks deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole. So I think he should have just stopped with that and just said, look, guys, I'm sorry the tweet didn't come out the way it should have, and moved on.
Right.
That's what I think should happen.
All right.
We immediately going and I'm gonna do this and we're gonna transition. I'm gonna transition us. But the problem, like I said, I had the initial tweet. I don't give a damn about that. I don't really care about any of the stuff that comes after. Like I say this all the time. My reason for being on Twitter is fuckery. 1000%. 1000% fuckery.
Yes.
I don't really care. You say some random shit on Twitter. It's Twitter. You throw out as much random shit as you want. It's gonna happen. It comes from every walk of life. Everybody says some stupid shit. I was fine with that. He came out and said, my bad, didn't come off right. Cool. Everybody would have washed their hands of it. Then he took it upon himself to start talking and calling everyone who you know that you did some stupid shit. Like in yourself, you said, I did something wrong. My bad. But then went on air to say, I did some stupid shit. Y'all are bitches. Like that's basically what happened. That's what I had a problem with. Like, what the fuck? You said something. You acknowledged that you said something stupid, and then you insulted everybody. After you said some
I want you
stupid
to
shit.
join the Expand Your Mind Facebook group. We have conversations like this. Don't lie, we got a group of white guys in there who feel the same way, that we are all equal. Black people have no trouble. They going through the same thing that black people. We have conversations like this in the Expand Your Mind Facebook group all day.
If you went to that table talk, you know what I mean?
Like we have these conversations. We talk about gaming, yes. But we have these are real conversations that people have. I'm gonna drop the link for it. Like we have these conversations. It's okay to have these conversations. There's nothing wrong with having these conversations.
People say in that group too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay, hold on one second. Just think here. All right. Who we got in here today? I want to see. We got here. We got a full house.
Yep.
Oh, we got a full house in here today. All right. So yeah, it is what it is. All right. Well, okay. Well, again, I guess you're on the road. You're wrestling, right, Baron? Hello? Oh, Baron.
I'll be on the road in a little while. Not right now.
Oh, okay. Somebody, because I know you're not gonna be. Let me get you out of here.
Somebody challenging your belt?
Yeah, he's about to fight somebody's grandpa.
You can do that.
I'll tell you this, man. Real shit, Baron. Real nigga to a fuck nigga, such as yourself. I'm proud of you, man. You have out there fun. Do you enjoy doing what you do?
No doubt.
Yeah, you having. I seen you cut your promo.
Is that your little signature little spin move with the arm raise and shit?
Yeah. That's his deal.
Yeah.
What you raising up an L or number one or what you?
Man, yeah, I don't know what he doing. But man, match is it your goal? You're talking to make it to the WWF? Is it still called the WWF or what is it?
No, it's WWE.
Okay.
God damn. Old as hell.
Z. You can tell Z old as hell.
Z old as hell.
That ain't been WWF in the 20.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro. He like, yeah, is it still called the WCW?
The last time I watched
WCW still around.
Last time I watched wrestling, it was WWF.
Hey, bro, last time I watched wrestling, they had the Piper's Pit, though. You know what I mean? The Piper's
Oh, my God.
You've been praying my beard grow even further when he said the Piper's Pit.
That's the last time I watched wrestling, man.
Z been fucking y'all. That man pushing 60 up in this mother.
That's the last time I watched wrestling, bro. You know what I mean? For real.
But you know, shout out for Baron though. You know, he's young, he's positive, doing something positive.
47 years old, that nigga ain't young.
Man, Baron like 24 years old.
Man, you see that nigga hairline? That nigga old as hell up there, man.
I gonna stop fucking him up. Baron like the B-Rabbit. Stop fucking with him. He gonna come out. He gonna fuck y'all up, and he gonna go back to his job at the steel mill. Y'all gonna leave.
Baron gonna be on a TV show somewhere. Them guys, some of the best actors in the world, boy.
I keep telling y'all he gonna end up on WWE.
He is. I'm be like, I know him, and I was talking shit the whole time.
Exactly.
I'll be like, when y'all come to Chicago, send me some tickets.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't trust. I'm using all the connect. I'm still gonna be talking shit.
All right. Well, hold on. But like I said, let me ask you a question, Baron. We had weeks. Normally, when the console generation start to end, will come into and you start to hear more and more about what's to come. You're saying Sony telling investors to buckle down. More or less, new hardware's about to come out. We had the thing, the job thing from Infinity Ward, looking for a narrative script writer for their next Call of Duty game. And, there's 3 teams, they alternate each year. And next year is supposed to be Infinity Ward's Call of Duty, whatever it's going to be called. And they are the ones behind the Modern Warfare series. If I'm not mistaken, if I am, I stand corrected, okay? And from the job description, I'm like, man, literally seeing, it said multiple next generation consoles, right? Now here's a question, or whatever the case may be. We may ask you a question, or how you may feel, or whatever, right? Do you think it's too soon in 2019 to be starting the conversation of next generation talk, or do you think it's too soon? Too soon, and what do you think Nintendo will do? The reason I want to ask you about Nintendo because they have a new boss now, new CEO, and they're talking about what they always said, the rumors to the successor to the 3DS. So, what do you think Nintendo do? Well, first of all, do you think it's too soon?
I keep telling everybody, like, Everybody didn't learn their lesson yet. Every little rumor and leak that you see doesn't mean it's real. I wish people would get that through their heads now. I don't understand how they don't, but they still do. I still think next gen, or I'm not even gonna call it next gen. I'm gonna just say the next wave of consoles is in 2020. It's not happening next year. I really don't feel like it's happening next year. I feel like it's 2020. And I think that's what's going to happen. As far as Nintendo making a successor to the 3DS, I don't know how that's going to go because they changed the game with the hybrid system to Switch. So I don't know if anybody really wants to go full handheld by itself anymore. So I don't know. Maybe Japan will be with it, but
What about
I really don't know. I have no answer.
Japan, a mobile market.
Yeah, Japan, a mobile market. I think
they still buying PSPs.
I'm ready for next gen. I do want to continue on that 6-year cycle that we've grown accustomed to. Obviously, last gen was extended because of the markets and everything else that happened. I'm ready to get on a new cycle. I know Microsoft is trying new stuff. They've been talking, we're going to get rid of cycles, but that's Microsoft. And Microsoft walked to their own beat the same way Nintendo walked to their own beat, the same way Sony walked to their own beat. So Sony says we're going to do traditional cycles. Microsoft's talking about getting rid of their particular cycle, and Nintendo has always walked their own cycle. Right now they're already on ninth gen for their console, so they don't care. Nintendo will come out with a product tomorrow, and it'll be a 10th gen. It doesn't matter for them. So I'm ready for it. I think we've gotten the bulk of what we're going to get out of these consoles this gen.
I disagree.
And no, we could extend it on, right? But I mean, time waits for no man. And I honestly don't think, even if we drug it on another 3-4 years, I don't think that's going to be healthy.
We haven't begun to touch what the Pro and the X is capable of.
Oh,
they're still going to be around, though.
And the reason why I say that is because
hit the like button.
The S and the regular PS4 is holding them back.
Yes, but they're not going to get rid of those
completely focus on the X and the Pro and just really, if you go to town,
they're going to become the base hardware.
Yeah,
if you ready for post, have his ass thrown up under that bus with the like button.
This is what's going to happen, right? And this is why Microsoft announced it how they announced it, that they're no longer doing generations and all that. That's so that they can make that transition without anybody screaming WTF. Like, it's going to be harder for PlayStation to do it. Xbox is going to have to do it first because they set themselves up in a position where they say it's no longer about hardware generations. You can carry everything forward. So the next set of Xbox games will play horribly on the Xbox One and Xbox One X until they phase out the Xbox One, and then they phase out the S. I mean, until they phase out the S, and then they only make an X. So they'll play it across all these generations, right? And it'll start to get to the point where it's like on PC, where you get the highest denominator hardware. It's no longer a generational thing. It's just you have an Xbox, whatever version of the Xbox you have will play this game, and it'll just play better the higher versions of Xbox that you have. On a PlayStation, it's a definitive cutoff point. Like the PS4, they'll stop making the Slim, and the Pro will be the base unit. But PlayStation is still in the traditional model. So instead of the games being spread across and just being better on the newer hardware, it just won't release on the PS4 Pro. And so you'll keep getting that cycle where stuff will get left behind. The reason me as a PC gamer, I like PC so much is because I can right this second go back and play a game from early 2000s, and then play something that just came out yesterday on the same computer and not have a problem. And Microsoft has set themselves up by saying we don't do generations, where they can start transitioning into that and people not yell at them. Like at the beginning of this generation, when they was like, we're going to be always online and all that DRM shit that they didn't explain the benefits of it, like we're already there for the most part. Like unless you A is stealing Wi-Fi from McDonald's, or B your internet goes out, everybody is connected in some way, shape, or form. So we've been there, but Microsoft doesn't know how to tell you anything. So right now they put out that little nugget, and as they transition, you can't say they didn't tell you because they told you years ago. But instead of saying we're making you do it, we're saying we're giving you the option to do it. Which all they should have done at the beginning of this goddamn thing.
Let me pay the bills. Shout out to Harry and the Hendersons. The buzz about new consoles is made by US-based gaming media and Microsoft. This to poke on Sony because they want next PS to come out before next Xbox.
Hey, look, Harry Helm hits a very good point. And I look, man, I tell y'all, Phil Spencer's like the new Jim Jones, man. He got y'all with the cyanide ready to take it at the moment. Ain't no new PlayStation coming out. Look, I was listening to Michael Pachter somewhere. I'm here to start some shit. I'm here to wake everybody up.
Talk about it. Look, talk about it, Moss.
Michael Pachter
make sell sheets.
He talked to both Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft said, "Hell yeah, we trying to get Scarlett Johansson, whatever the hell it's called. We're gonna get that out there tomorrow." Sony said, "Look, we told y'all motherfuckers last year, and the same thing this year. We trying to sell 156 million PlayStation 4s. Do not expect the PlayStation 5 anytime soon. We are too successful financially with this PlayStation 4, man."
And so the numbers die off, man. In the fact
they don't want to get caught. They don't want to get caught with the numbers going down.
They don't. Yeah. No, this is the problem.
Hold up. Microsoft, Harry Helene, a good brother. Shout out to you, man. Let me make Harry my admin if I didn't already. He said Harry Helene said Microsoft wants a refresh now.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing though.
That ain't doing
PlayStation is they're not worried about getting caught with the numbers, the numbers trailing off. They're not worried about that at all. They're worried about their revenue trailing off. And even with the console not selling as much, their overall revenue is rising.
Yeah.
So until that turns, and that's not going to happen for another couple of years because they have the games in the pipeline and people have the ability to grasp on to Sony's hope that something's coming, and they grab that. And once they grab it and they like, yo, I got a PS4 because I saw this one game. I don't know when it's supposed to be out, but I'm gonna play it when it come out. So I bought a PS4. All right. So you got a PS4. I'm gonna buy a PS4 so we can play this NBA 2K19. Word. And that trickles on. So as long as that keeps happening, they don't give a damn. They're gonna ride this wave till it ain't no more wave, and then they will put out whatever base hardware that AMD makes for them.
I said this right. I'm on the record. What I'm gonna say. I believe that the next generation is gonna start 2020. Now I'm sorry, Pro. I'm sorry, Most. Post, you said something about the X and the Pro not meeting its true potential, whatever the case may be, right? They would never make a game, I guess, more or less from the ground up for the X or from the Pro because they have a much bigger install base with the Slim.
Yeah, you right.
Facts.
So that would never happen. That would never happen. Again, it's both backwards and forwards compatible. You know what I mean? And what's really because they are, I guess, much more capable consoles than what we got in 2013, but with holes in back of the Ray and the CPU. Now, again, with that being said, and people again, like I said back then, you know what I mean? The X and the Pro are not new consoles. They're just made to run what we already had a little faster. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They are mid-gen refresh. This generation started in 2013. It's already 2018. You know what I mean? A normal traditional console like it used to be 5 years at the most. What happened last generation was very, very unhealthy. Very, very unhealthy. You know, that 8-9 year, you know what I mean? Sony lost so much money with Blu-ray. Microsoft lost so much money with the Red Ring of Death. And then you know what else happened too for Microsoft? The Kinect was extremely successful. So again, that extended the goddamn the console generation. So again,
I guess it don't seem that long to me though.
It doesn't because because again, what to me, and this is my opinion, you guys can take it from here. Me and Puerto Rock actually went back and forth about this. When I speak to that bum again, we gonna bring this back up on the show, the digital streets. I said last generation, as far as game wise, maybe you guys may feel different. I feel like last generation, with games, we got better games than we got in this generation. I mean, we had so many new IPs. Assassin's Creed was new, Gears of War was new, the Uncharted franchise was new, The Last of Us was new. We didn't get too many old shit moments really for this generation, and it mean, like I said, the big point of that, I mean, the big reason for that, I'm sorry, was that because all of the cross-gen development that started at the beginning of the generation. I mean,
Here's what I think is the issue, though. I think what you said was kind of correct. It's kind of half correct. And I believe that's why next gen is not going to be like you think it's going to be. It's not going to be like next generation like you've seen in the past. I said this like 4 years ago. I said it looks like the console business is going to turn into like the cell phone.
You was doing 4 years ago too, fuck nigga. But what happened?
I mean, the Wii U still falls in line with what I said. It looks like the console business is going to go the route of the cell phone business, where they're just going to keep upgrading these machines while your other machines are still supported and will still run the software, or AKA the games. Eventually, as the machines keep getting upgraded, your machine is no longer going to be able to play the game. I believe that's what they're going to do with consoles now. It looks that way. I believe the X and the Pro was the test to see if that would work. Sure. And a lot of y'all went out there and bought it like jackasses, and now that's the model they're going to follow.
We're going to pay the bills right now. S9, Sister Soldier 9, with the $9 holler. If Spider-Man has a PS4 bundle, hands down 100 million consoles sold.
It's going to do that.
They close to 100 million already.
It's going to do that regardless, because when the PS5 come out, they're not going to. You can't hear me. You guys can't hear me. So they say they can't hear me in the chat. When the PS5 does come out, they're not going to stop making the PS4. They're still going to sell. You're still going to have Madden come out for it. You're still going to have 2K come out for it. You're still going to have Call of Duty come out for it. You still be able to play Fortnite on it. So that's not going to change. You know what I mean?
Hey, shout out to Jay Wags. He said, "Don't look like the PS4 is being held back. So Xbox One X got them shackles on."
Oh yeah. And again, he ain't right. I ain't lying. Exclusively wise, yeah. So, you know what I mean? Do my mic sound better in the chat? I'm sorry, they said my shit was kind of low.
I mean, it is practically is what it is. That's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna update the hardware. I don't think you're gonna get this big next generation, spectacular thing.
Hey man, did you get DDT this morning? You just said all they're gonna do is update the hardware. Duh! That's what a new generation is. Fuck,
I think he's seeing like that big
double
leap,
right now.
That big leap that we're looking for is not going to happen. But you got to realize
it's not going to happen. It's going to be similar.
Let's stop with the fuckery.
Cell phone business, man.
Let's stop with this fuckery.
Oh, we got P-Rock in the back.
I'm sick and goddamn tired of what happened to my multiplayer podcast. All we've been doing is talking about lesbians and fucking dudes wearing wigs.
Here we come with his shit.
And this nonsense is happening. You're like, what the fuck is going on with the multiplayer? Now, what's up, fellas, man?
What's up? P-Rock named him pretty. What's going on, good brother?
I don't know. I'm suffering from fucking next gen disease. I got insomnia. I think, doctor diagnosed me with type 4 diabetes. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, that's that next gen shit you about to get. I'm like, wow.
But now, this is the show.
I'm walking around with an IV bag and shit. I don't know what the
like
fuck.
Me, man.
Those
alone. They lose a goddamn leg. This motherfucker got peg legs too.
I'm the first case of fucking gaming mental disease. So now my insurance premiums went up. I'm like, man, this is all.
Let me ask you a question, Porter Rock. From your cheap ass hotspot go out. You know you cheap as fuck, right? Let me ask you a question, right? Name of the show, right? Podcast. The Xbox 2 PS5 maybe launching sooner than you think. What will Nintendo do? Take the 10 on them. Do you think is it too soon, or do you feel like it's too soon? I'm gonna ask you two questions too. Do you think it's too soon to be talking about next generation?
I would say, because let's say if it comes out 2019, that's 6 years, right? Since the launch of the thing. For me, not too much, but I didn't buy a Pro or 1X, so I can't speak from that perspective. I will say this: if I would have bought a 1X for $500,
yes, sir,
and the thing's not even a year old yet, I would be kind of like, I would feel some type of way right now. If we're already talking about next gen, I'm like, man, my shit's not even
They're talking about Scarlet. They hyping up Scarlet already.
But to be honest, I will feel some type of way if I got a Pro too, because I'm like, damn, I just got this thing, and we already gonna move on and shit. Here's my thing. I mean, here's the thing. I don't agree with this whole cell phone model because I don't think that's a proven concept for consoles. I think it already failed.
You think so?
Yeah, because the reason why is this: when I look at the iPhone, Samsung, every time them motherfuckers come out, those shits sell off the meat rack. Them shits is like the hottest shit on the street. These X's and Pros ain't the hotness on the street. They're not. You know what I'm saying? The Slims and the the PS4 Slim and Xbox One Slim, that's the highest selling units. You know what I'm saying? The Pro and the X, they doing good for what they are, but they're not iPhone 8 level fucking taking over.
Video games will never be. I don't think it's supposed to be. It's not a necessity.
Their job is to elongate this generation,
and the more software that they sell, and
it's to elongate this generation. They put out the Pro and they put out the X and say, okay, this generation now is 3 years longer than it would have been. So now the S's and the Slims sell, and they keep boosting them software numbers. But keep in mind, they don't have to make a new console.
Keep in mind though, the Pro was out a whole year before the X dropped. So
yeah, but besides all that, let me ask you this, right? If 2019 starts the new generation, you honestly tell me PlayStation needed a Pro?
Not really.
I don't think
for PlayStation's success of this whole entire gen, they needed the Pro?
No, I'm gonna ask you a question.
No,
I don't.
They didn't need it at all.
Listen, neither company need the X or the Pro because they're running the same software. The Pro and the X are for those that want the best of it. The guys that want the
hardcore.
Those who want to do it on steering wheels, but those who want the fight stick.
Yeah, like yesterday. I guarantee millions of people or whatever over the last couple of months bought the S's and both the S's and Slims. That had nothing to do with that.
And I'm gonna tell you what it was.
I don't think the phone X extended anything.
They wanted to extend this. They want to extend this generation, and then on top of that, just like he said, it's for the hardcore, right? But it's not even so much that. What they saw was 2017 gaming revenue. They saw PC jumped, I think it was like 8% or 9% from the year before, and a year after everybody was saying that PC gaming was dead and that consoles were taking us over and all that other bullshit was out there, right? So they saw the revenue jumping, and they was like, all right, so why are people jumping to PC? Because now everybody's making these pre-built gaming PCs and they play games better than our stuff. So if we go and make something that also appeals to that crowd and we talk about that thing, so we talk about the buzzwords that are on that side, the 4K and newest technology and all this other VR, we talk about that shit out here. Whether or not everybody can utilize it is irrelevant. We say we have it, and now everybody goes in the store, they're like, oh, this $400, but I can get this $250 Slim. Okay. Or, I get this $250 Xbox One S. That $500, I can't do that. But it's available to them. Yeah. So to the average consumer, they walk in there like, yo, I want this new joint. This ain't quite the newest, but I fucks with it. And I can still play the game.
Let me pay the bills right quick. Shout out to my brother, the Ruhan. He said, what's good, Z? Into the panel, keep speaking the truth. Great show, guys. Cheap ass King Wave. Got that SSI check, huh, good brother? Thank you for the love. It said, if Xbox or Nintendo are your main platforms, you eat cereal with water and get no coochie. Hashtag PS4, hashtag PC. My brother Top Dog 2K17. Nintendo started the cell phone model. Which is the truth? So Nintendo started the cell phone model, good point, with the Game Boy Colors, Game Boy DS, DSi, 3DS, and new 3DS. They didn't want to start this shit. Good point. Nintendo did start this shit. A lot of people don't like, Nintendo, no, they so pro-consumer. Nintendo did start that shit.
That's a whole different market.
Hold on, man.
Damage controlling.
Hey, but hold up. Let me finish this question.
That's not damage controlling. The handheld market was always done like that since they've been in it.
He said before you cut your wrestling promo, let me finish paying the bill. I'm going to repeat Top Dog. It's a good point, Top Dog. Nintendo started the cell phone model with the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, DS, DSi, DSL, 3X, all them goddamn things, and the new 3DS. And my brother,
bullshit because that's not a home console. Those were hands.
Okay, all right. Harry Halim said, the PS4 Pro owners take their Pros as a pure 4K enhancer for their 4K TVs, while the Xbox One X owners want something revolutionary from their X's.
Facts. That's true.
Okay.
I mean, I say this for next gen. You know, where it's gonna come down to is like just like with every other gen. I know we talk about hardware, but the key for next gen is the tools that they use. You know, do we go from Frostbite 2 to Frostbite 3? Do we go from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5? No. You know, that's the real key to next generation gaming. It's the tool. You know, if they don't improve on the tools, it doesn't matter what type of, you know, they could use CUDA cores, Ryzen chip. They're still using the same tools that they use for the current games we're playing today, which means it's just going to run and perform better. But we're not truly getting next generation games because they didn't update the tools to next generation.
Okay,
we're still getting
I can't believe
two games.
For the Rock. Okay, because you know, again, I'm gonna talk about exclusives. When you saw The Last of Us 2, did you think that? I mean, you have a lot of guys saying that couldn't be the PlayStation 4.
You really that bullshit in this conversation. You really want that bullshit in here,
man. Get out of here with your cell phone model. Get out of here,
man. Want to hear that shit no more,
man? Look, Bam just mad because he couldn't get his no-show Prime.
I'm wrong, bro.
Hey, Derek, your belt. Hey, yo, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna agree with P-Rock. I can't believe I'm throwing up in my mouth. No, but next generation, they're gonna have to do something better with these engines. Like for instance, I was reading that they're gonna have they're working on making sure that you can put less resources in there, so there's less money involved because the games to develop are bloating up in price. So they got to do that because they're focusing so much on polygons and compute units, and they're focusing less on innovation in these games. Let's be real. We didn't, like you said, we did not get the leap in type of gameplay that we got last generation.
Check it out. You know what? Here's the thing, right? And I'm stupid. Here's the thing, right? Well, you know why they're going to save money next generation? Well, as far as engines or whatever, because they already have the assets in place. You know what I mean? So they're not starting from scratch. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? They're just going to build on top of whatever you have. But Puerto Rock, listen, remember, I forgot whatever show it was. Me and you were going back, and you tried to get when I said we didn't get as many bigger games. We got more big, I think more, you know, as far as game content, you know what I mean? And then we got this generation. I believe it was whatever the case may be. Well, maybe it may not have been you, but I said during the 7th generation, we got more games. And, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you got the Assassin's Creed franchise. You got The Last of Us, Uncharted. What do you call it? Gears of War. You know what I mean? What else came out last generation? We didn't get too many new IPs, stable franchises to me in this generation. Maybe it was because of the cross-gen development. I don't know. But how do you feel about it? Do you still feel that way? Maybe I'm sorry. Maybe it may not have been you. You know what I mean? But just going back and looking at what we got last generation.
I think I actually agreed with you because I remember arguing how Rockstar during the PS2 gen, they had like 9 games. In this gen, we're only getting 1. I mean, because I know some people are going to say Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's a last gen game.
Yeah, it's a remake.
To this gen. Our only legit Rockstar game for this gen is going to be Red Dead Redemption 2. That's it. PS2, we had what? We had 3 Grand Theft Autos. We had Red Dead Revolver. We had Manhunt. We had the Warriors. We had Bully. We had a lot. We had a lot of games just from that one company.
You know what's crazy? I asked a guy. I asked a guy that I know that knows somebody within the industry, right? And I asked him that. You know, I'm just saying what I'm talking with you guys about, right? He said there's 2 reasons. He said A is DLC and how these games are made for, you know, which people say not games as services. A game like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game of services. Something that you keep going back and playing into. And the way he told me the reason why you had more games going to 6th generation because games didn't take as long to make. You know what I mean? Games are much more involved, or you know, it takes so much longer. Realize we weren't playing games on, you know, high def MLS during the 6th generation. You get bigger and supposed to be bigger and better worlds. So games now take and no excuse for what Rockstar is doing, but you know how many? Let me see. You got Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2. You got San Andreas, and you got damn Vice City. You got 3 within 5 years. You know what I mean? Yep. You got 3. You got Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas. I'm sorry, Vice City, and then San Andreas. You know what I mean? And then Grand Theft Auto 4. You know what I mean? And again, because games didn't take as long to make. You know, they weren't as big and all the stuff. And then you didn't have anything such as like DLC. You know what I mean? To offset the cost, people keep going back to buying X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking about overall staple, the content of what we got this generation. You know what I mean?
And
we haven't gotten much out of that. Anthem was shaping up to look like it's going to be big. So what would you say? What would you say?
The problem is, the problem is like PR said was and like you just said, the DLC. Like longevity in these games is an issue because these games take so long. So they bring on a team of 200, right? They paying all these dudes anywhere from, because they out there in LA or Seattle or something like that. They paying these dudes for anywhere from 65 to 120. So that's 200 people, and they got to pay all of them for 6 years. Plus, they have to pay for all the engines and assets that they're making, the power for the building, and all this shit adds up over time. Just like when the first Tomb Raider came out on the last gen consoles, and they weren't gonna make another Tomb Raider because they hadn't recouped the money, even though Tomb Raider on last gen sold well. So they re-released it, and even once they re-released it, it took like another year and some change for them to finally make a profit off of that game. It had already been out 2 generations and cross-platform, and it had to get to like 9 or 8.5 million, something like that, just to be back to zero. And shit like that is a problem, because as these games get bigger and as we demand that they be bigger and better and look prettier,
absolutely,
and because we 100%, if we're gonna pay for it and somebody else did it, you damn sure are gonna do it too. So our demands on them become larger, so they make that game a little larger. They'll put in that one extra mission in that, even if you won't play it, like 1% of everybody who touches this game will play this one thing, but it has to be in there because we, like I said, expect better. We expect more. We expect larger. We expect it to look and play the best it possibly can with as much content as humanly possible. And in reality, that's not a quick thing. No matter how many people you throw at it, there's only so many people who can make the story. There's only so many people who can do all these things at once and have it cohesively work. In all reality, the smaller teams will get things accomplished quicker because you have one person focused in on doing one thing, and then you have the pieces just feeding him something. I need an engine. Here goes your engine. All right, I need a story writer. Here goes your story. I need somebody designing character models. Here goes your character models. But when you have 50 people all making different character models, and now you're trying to figure out, well, I like this one. I don't like that one. I like this one. I don't like that one. Like that shit adds up, and it takes more time. And then they finally say, okay, this is the best we got. They put out some shit and we're like, yo, that shit is trash. You've been working on this for 7 years and it's garbage. And then we end up back in the same situation. Now, all those 200 people work 7 years on something everybody hates. Like, and they play this game where I just spent all this time, all this money, the Mass Effect Andromeda thing, all this time, all this money, and nobody likes it. All y'all fired. We don't get no more of those games. That's why you don't do franchises.
But Mass, here's the thing about it, right? That's back to when it comes to the developers like that. That's a you problem. It's their job to sell us their product, and if they make a mediocre product that we don't like, then we ain't gonna buy it. I don't care if they put 700 people, 500 people, or 20 people. There's a bunch of developers now that only have look at the Ninja Theory, look at Cuphead developer. A handful of people can make a masterpiece. So I think instead of developers crying how much it costs to make a game,
please.
I think they need to just get good. They need to start saying, look, if our games are going to sell, we're going to have to do right by the gamers, and we're going to have to make our games good. We keep throwing out shit, and they keep buying it, throwing out 60s rated games, and people buy it. Guess what? We're going to keep delivering 60s rated games.
Hey, you got to be messy, don't you?
I got to.
You got
to. Hey, I'm gonna say this.
It's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say this. The whole. I
was agreeing with the fuck nigga until you.
J-Dub had to do his fuckboy shit. On the real though, on the essence thing though, I don't agree with feeling sorry for developers because at the end of the day, or publishers, because at the end of the day, they make a consumer product. If it's good, I'm gonna buy it. If it's not good, I'm not buying it. And I don't want to hear, well, you should buy it anyway to support the industry. They're not my children. I support my daughter. I don't support gaming. Gaming's supposed to entertain me, make the product that I enjoy, and I will buy it.
Facts. Porter Rock talk about it.
You're not my kid. Right? I didn't give birth to any of these developers.
Damn, Porter Rock said you're not my next of kin. God damn,
you know what I'm saying? But that's the real. Some people think I had dudes telling me I have to buy Gran Turismo because it's a fucking Sony first party. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, it's the same thing.
I'm not doing that.
Hey, don't get him started on racing games. Don't get him started.
Hey, yo, but it's the same thing on the Xbox side of things. I remember Crap, my throw his ass up on the bus, did a video about Voodoo Vince and why we should support it till we did a single. I said, man, nah, fuck that. I bought the first Voodoo Vince and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? That's not, look, I said again, it's not my job to go out there and buy every Xbox exclusive because I'm an Xbox guy. No, I buy what I like. What I'm thinking, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Fuck. I'm not trying to win them the MPD on lock. They take you go to the bus from that one. I'm not going on that bitch buying 7 Xboxes. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But here's the question again. Now, Porter, I'm sorry. Back to you, Post, because you said a bunch of shit. I want to throw your ass up on the bus. I kind of lost train of thought. You said that again that they didn't take advantage of the X or the Pro. So you saying again it's too early to launch these consoles?
Are you asking, man, what you gotta do when I be my
Put that goddamn hoagie down.
My man in the middle.
Hey, Pose. Take off that goddamn kufi and something that telling ham with cheese right now.
I want to come back to me. I'm finna enjoy this shit right now.
Yeah, get your damn.
You won't stop eating that dirty ass cabbage.
Yeah, motherfucker eating a pack of folk flavors of oodles and noodles with a kufi on, with the Quran right there next to him. He ain't shit. He going straight to the late
shit fine in that Chinese food your ass be eating. Fuck as you talking
about. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that, bro. Hey, yo, you know I'm about to lose my leg. Don't do me like that, bro. Hold up, man. God damn.
Hey, yo, while Post Up is eating that dirty ass cabbage, let me just put it like this, man. What P Rock has said is true. If you're a developer or a publisher, it is for you to sell me on your product and services. So all about supporting the dev thing blindly.
Fuck that.
The way to go. But with that being said, we also got to see the underlying problems that are going on. Again, because these companies are so focused on the polygon and compute units and getting everything visually astounding, that they're losing a lot of the grit and the substance in these games. Like, for instance, God of War, I'm not a Sony guy. God of War University, a lot of people like it. But that game took 7 years to make. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing this generation coming up is, before we hope for it too soon, let's hope that developers and publishers or whoever got their mind right as far as the innovation that they want to provide. Like Cyberpunk 2077, how people was walking out of there, jumping out of windows. Hopefully every publisher and developer is in that mindset to bring something that we haven't seen before instead of just focusing on vision.
But here's the thing, though, and I don't want to misspoke for anybody. I don't think, again, it's going to be that big of a leap. This is my opinion. Because I just think I think we're going to get 60 frames, maybe the mandatory for a lot of kids. They'll give us the option to have 60 frames, you know what I mean? Because let's think about it. At the start of this generation, it wasn't even guaranteed to get 1080p all the time. Between 900 and fucking 1080 or sometimes 720p or then 900 on the PS4, you know what I mean? So, what was that D that came out saying everything's going to be 4K 60? You know what I mean? I don't think, again, because if you give developers the option, and like Mike said, they will probably just give us something, especially on consoles, just give us something prettier, than, and then like I said, but again, what do I know?
And that is all of y'all fuck niggas' fault.
Why?
That is all of y'all fuck niggas' fault. You say all the goddamn time. You rather take the veneer instead of what's
Tell
on
his
the
ass,
inside.
man. So I was just gonna jump in on his ass.
All these motherfuckers in here talk about, oh, it looks so great. How does it play? Oh, it looks so great. Bitch, that's not what I asked you. All these motherfuckers were so worried about how pretty it looks, as opposed to whether or not the gameplay is fucking fun. You motherfuckers are the problem. You are the reason we don't get advanced physics. You're the reason all this shit, all these physics and NDRA, like all these things that could be implemented aren't, because y'all want this shit to be pretty.
Are you talking to me?
No. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
We're gonna go there. Yeah, we're gonna go there.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Let me
tell you why. Right?
We're gonna go there.
No, when you sell me a game, I'm looking for graphics. I'm looking for physics. I'm looking for all of that shit. I'm not just gonna sacrifice graphics just because he's physics or just because of this. I want the whole package. Now think about it. A game like
you lying out your ass right now.
Listen,
let me
finish. Let me finish, Mr. Metroid. All right.
No,
so we got games
now.
We got games like Sea of Thieves, right? Got all the physics and the water effects and all that stuff. Got the HDR effect going, but the sum of the game, it ended up being empty, right? It ended up being empty. So we can't always say that going for all the technical aspect is just the way to go. No, you got to have the graphics and you got to have the physics and you got to have everything.
For Sea of Thieves art style, it does have the graphics.
Y'all gotta have gameplay and content.
Yeah, but
the art style that they choose to go after, I don't give a flying fuck. If the game's not fun.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying
you
is
get shit like The Order. That shit look gorgeous.
Man,
it's fucking pretty and
you shouldn't have to choose. That shit should come standard. Like,
but Jay,
I don't want to have that trade off, right? I don't want to have to say,
but that's the reality.
I'm not even dictating that it has to look a certain way. I'm saying the art style you choose, whether you choose to go super realistic, whether you choose to go super artistic, I don't give a fuck. If the game is fun, that's what I give a damn about.
Look, I'm not gonna like Zelda Breath of the Wild, right?
And be like,
look at that art style.
I'm not gonna stop at every fucking vista and be like, oh my god, no. I'm gonna be trying to do something by pressing the fucking button. That's what I'm gonna be trying to do. I'm not going from scene to scene.
That's why
you take screenshots. I'm going from scene to scene to beat something the fuck up, to drive around a fucking corner.
I just want to apologize to the chat. We got to keep a fuck nigga like Jay on the show to keep shit entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I just want to apologize to y'all, but everything cool. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can continue the show,
player. He got a secret decoder ring from Yoshida that tells him what to do every 15 minutes. You know this shit. This still my dude. This still my dude.
Right.
That's what I got to say about that.
But Zelda Breath of the Wild, let me finish. Zelda Breath of the Wild.
You don't
look at that art style, right? It's a great art style. It looks good. It's a fun game. It's a big open world, and that thing was running on a highly underpowered console. But at the end of the day, that game is still a masterpiece. I will give it that. So you don't have to sacrifice just because there's a certain art style. No, it's still beautiful. It still has the physical.
Hey, Jay, I got a quick question, bro.
That's not what he was saying.
No, yeah. What I'm just trying to tell him is we shouldn't have to sacrifice just because the developers have been sacrificing. Us as gamers shouldn't have to accept that there is a ton of sacrificing going on.
So why are you accepting the sacrifice?
Sacrificing right there.
I'm gonna pay the bills. I'm gonna pay the bills. Let me pay the bills.
Just said a lot of sacrificing.
Let me ask.
Let me pay the bills. Hold on. Before you go at him, let me pay the bills real quick. Dumbass Mr. Parker says DRM is a fuck nigga. I just want y'all to know there is a podcast called Mr. Parker is a Dumbass. Happens every Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time on my channel. It's literally called Mr. Parker is a Dumbass, and this motherfucker comes to it religiously.
Actually, he got killed today. Someone buried his ass in the pet cemetery.
Throw the towel.
I will concur with that. He is a dumbass.
Go ahead, I got a question for Jay real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, you say you don't have to sacrifice graphics or gameplay. You should have the whole package, right?
Everything. You watch the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Nito's finna
So,
get somebody.
quick question.
I know it.
Why are you hyping up H1Z1? Which is I hate to question your integrity.
Wait, was I?
Get his ass, man.
Was I?
I hate to question your integrity.
Hold on. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question.
Y'all got me. Play the tapes. If you
Let
don't,
me ask a question. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question, man.
Nito's be quiet. Y'all gotta watch him, man. He's a silent killer.
Yo, word is born.
Hey,
yo, man, you remember that day Nito's wild P-Rock shit up there, Mr. Share My Screen. Bro, shit.
if he got that evidence, let him play the tape. If not, then it is what it is.
Yo, I know I'm late as hell, right? What is
There you go. This dude.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's sacrificing anything. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to developer talent. That's it. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, look what fucking Santa Monica did on the base PS4 God of War. That game has great gameplay and it looks beautiful. And then you got what Rare did with Sea of Thieves.
Oh, come on, P-Rock.
Oh my God.
That might be great, but what I'm saying is, it's all it's all in the eye of the beholder and what you can do with what you got.
But P-Rock,
Here's the thing, though. This has got to be said.
What is it, nigga?
Y'all created. Look,
joystick icon. What's trash? Talk to me.
I mean, it's trash, but it looks beautiful.
State of the K2.
Oh my God. Y'all shut up about that Sea of Thieves garbage. But
what?
Look, y'all created this monster, man.
Sailor Moon ass nigga. They said DRM milks his goat with no hands.
Hey, yo, hold up.
Sailor Moon ass motherfucker.
Hold on.
I'm about to choke on my food. Hold on, I gotta mute my mic.
God damn, hold up. Hey, yo, some motherfucker Baron played the black version of Yakuza 17. Hold up.
Hey, look. I don't give a damn. Call me Tuxedo Mask if you want to. Look. But look, y'all created this damn bed and you got to lie in it, man.
What bed is this? Hold on, I'm late to the party. Y'all still got Henny or not?
Hey, wait, hold up. Baron, before you go, I just want to pay the bills. I was trying to get this guy from it. Harry linked it out to him. He said, great graphics, great stories are movies and games walking simulations, but modern adult games doesn't display the scores on hubs. Baron's PG-14 games does. I don't know. Yeah, I think Nintendo was dog shit, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Let me say what I gotta say. You done now?
Okay. No, last bill. Miso Newbie, what gave me the bill? He said something I was talking just a half hour ago. He said if all games aren't in 4K 60, then what's so next gen about next gen? And I'm gonna say this again, and if you guys want to tackle next generation to me, or for console, it's never been about resolution or frames per second for me. You know what I mean? That's I guess
exclusives, baby.
Maybe something that couldn't be done technically on previous hardware. But I don't even know where. That's the crazy part, right? To me, that's what signified a new generation when you got something that couldn't be done on previous gen hardware, and this generation to me has eroded that.
Hold on. Expectations low.
Yeah.
If you're going into the next generation, think you feel to get standard 4K 60, you're gonna be disappointed.
Why? Okay. Why you say that? Why post it?
Because you don't know what the developer's going to do with the hardware. Developers make the decision to choose graphics over frame rate or frame rate.
We can look at Nintendo.
Nintendo. Got someone sensible in this fucking.
Not all of them are going to make that choice.
Hold on, wait.
Not all of them are going to make that choice to go 4K 60.
Hold on.
Nintendo finally hit 30 frames.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Yo, turn that
over here with 360p.
All over.
WWE.
You must really not care about resolution.
You don't get to talk about this topic. My man running Wolfenstein at 360p.
Y'all all over the place, right? Y'all all over the place. Y'all forgetting the main important thing right now is that shit has changed so drastically from last and the generation before that. People understand that mobile is playing a lot of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You're not listening. You're not listening. If you could take that Sony cock out your mouth for a second,
come on,
you'll understand what I'm saying.
Baron, my iPhone X is more powerful than the
Oh
Switch.
my
Get out of
God!
here.
Listen to what I'm saying. I don't want to hear all that Sony propaganda bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that bullshit. What you got to understand is that
what you got to understand
is that there's so much money being made in the mobile aspect of things. I think developers want their games to be able to be scaled all the way down to mobile because they make so much money.
All the way down to Switch level.
You gotta understand.
I agree with that because your company, Sony,
I'm gonna give you. I'm
a cell phone game.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Sony got $2 billion franchises. One
on the mobile,
on mobile.
Which game is that?
The Fate Order, Grand Order shit.
Nobody ever heard of that, so let's move on.
Nobody ever played.
But with that said,
Nintendo
mobile gaming is the largest money-making market there is. That's been true for a few years.
Because there's a billion times more phones than there is consoles.
However,
exactly.
that does not excuse the Switch for running these games at full 360.
Y'all not listening.
Like bullshit.
Dog shit resolution.
Yo, that nigga
Barry
Barry
really listening to what I am saying.
What are you saying, fuck
at all?
What are you saying?
He's trying to fight the good fight, man.
Harry Houdini, what are you saying?
When it comes to the next generation thing, it's going to be done differently. I believe that everybody is going to make sure that every game is going to run from mobile all the way up to whatever the console is, the powerful.
Yeah, Microsoft already stated that.
So you say
because the mobile market is competitive now. They got a competitive
game. They're gonna stream it. They're gonna stream it just like everybody else is gonna stream it. They're not out here making trash ass versions of their games.
That nigga Barrett be walking in the barbershop like, let me get that 360 PCs.
I want to put this out here real quick. There are games on cell phones running at 1080p. Why that shit ain't running on the Switch at 1080p?
Let's get the facts out there.
One at a time. Y'all got to let Baron answer. Go ahead and answer, Baron. Go ahead.
The facts out there. So you try to tell me there is not any games on Switch that 1080p or 60 frames per second? Is that what you're saying?
There's more games running at 1080p.
I'm asking you a question. Yo, look how you trying to say that do any games run at 1080p and 60 frames per second on Switch? Because look, y'all either gonna deal with the facts or you gonna keep talking your bullshit.
The fact is the Switch run games at 360p.
Okay, so you're telling me that there's no game that run. There's no games on Switch that run at 1080p or 60 frames per second.
That run on phones at 1080p, 60 FPS.
Yo, show them the games.
The crowd goes wild as they are amazed at Baron moving the goalpost.
There are more
actually moving the goalpost.
GP18.
There are more.
I'm not moving the goalposts. I just think it's funny that people point out
on the Switch.
Point out one or two games that don't run well on the Switch and nor all the other games that do.
Baron, pretty much most of the third-party games run like
ain't no pretty no. That's a lie.
Every system got a game that don't run right.
Exactly.
360p.
Keep doing this
Post
shit.
up. 360p is fucking not an excuse.
Hey, hold
That is Xbox PS1.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Answer the question, yo.
Let me ask this question. It's been revealed recently that Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 runs like shit on PC. Is that PC fault?
Oh shit!
It runs at 30 FPS.
Shenmue
It's locked at 30 FPS.
Play that shit.
Is that PC fault? Yes or no?
Yo, what headset you using?
30 FPS? No.
he's gonna try to blame it on devs now. Oh,
he's
okay.
about to.
No, I'm not trying to blame it on devs. It's called common sense.
I got a question for you.
Look at it, people.
Baron, why can't you
Baron is dipping and dodging. He is
Why can't you just answer the damn
question?
We just said no.
We said no.
Hold on. That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna let him go down this. I'm gonna let him go down this rabbit hole. No, that is because that was a developer choice.
Hey, Baron.
Baron is using his yelling tactic.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Baron.
No, it is not PC's fault. That was the developer choice. Yeah. All right, next. What you got next?
Okay, he done. Baron, here's a question.
It goes for every damn console and every other platform.
Okay, I got a question for you, Baron. Now,
that doesn't excuse anything. That doesn't excuse nobody. If somebody did a poor ass job putting a game on a system, that's their fault.
All right,
it's not the system's fault.
That's not necessarily true, though.
I'm Peter Bills. Dumbass Parker coming for you, Post. He said, how many Krispy Kremes Post had today?
Oh, shit.
Don't play with a big man's weight like that, man.
What is you talking about?
The only person you should... Let me shut up. I was going to say something stupid.
Okay, hey, listen. Hey, Baron, that's your question?
What up?
What generation is the Switch? Is it an 8th gen console or is it a 9th generation console?
I really couldn't tell you because Nintendo didn't even label it out.
I don't
understand why you always sighing and you don't listen to what I say.
But listen, Baron, I always ask this question.
What makes you sound asinine as hell?
Baron, here's the question.
It plays right into what I've been saying. I believe you're not going to do braces anymore.
He talking back.
Here's the thing. Listen, Baron, here's the thing. Was the Wii U was an 8th generation console, right? Right?
Yes.
So this is
oh my God!
I'm just asking you a question.
You know we going down this road. Come on, go.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. What I've been saying from the beginning. What I've been saying from the beginning of this conversation, I said I think they're doing away with traditional generations. It's not going to be labeled like that anymore.
But listen,
until
they do that, the Switch successor was listen until we get an official statement from them. So the Switch, the successor to the Wii U was the Switch, right? The Wii U was the 8th generation console, right?
I mean, you can put it that way. Yeah, you can.
Right. So how the fuck did Nintendo release a goddamn 9th generation console in 2017 that's weaker than 2013 goddamn hardware?
I don't know because that didn't happen, so I don't know what you're talking about.
360p.
The Switch
Baron is trying to
1080p. 1080p.
Wait, did you just say
360p?
360p.
1080p.
Did you just say?
The panel keeps yelling 360p.
Hey, Baron, did you?
Are you saying right now?
Are you saying right now the Switch is not less powerful than 2013 hardware?
I already said that wasn't, so I don't know why you're still going on.
So the Switch was more powerful than the Xbox One and the PS4?
I already said the Switch is on par with the base Xbox One. I told y'all that a long time ago.
Yo, listen, I want to know what needle you're using to shoot your steroids.
Okay, man.
I'm not shooting no steroids.
As this panel fight goes on,
this big ass forehead, man. He bugging right now.
As the panel fight goes on,
what Xbox One game running at 360p, y'all? Do y'all know?
I don't know.
I got a question for you.
Hey, J-Dub.
Baron is looking dazed.
I just got a quick question for you.
Stay up. Yo, let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask you a question.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question before you ask me. So you are telling us, right?
I can't hear nobody right now.
It is because of the developers that games are running badly, right? You also state that Nintendo does not put out anything from their first party that does not hold up to standards, right? And that they are the best first party. They put out everything that is the best it can possibly be, and it is just on the third-party developers. They're fucking it up, right?
Baron is looking. He's quite quiet.
Or right what?
As far as these games running horribly.
Well,
it's mostly been third parties.
Well, Maz get the setup. He's going for it.
So I just got a question.
2?
So as far as Xenoblade 2, exactly. Xenoblade 2 drops to 342 fucking P at
Xenoblade 2. You done? Xenoblade 2
342p at 13 FPS. That is a first party game, is it not?
Can I answer that?
Yes, you can.
Go ahead.
Xenoblade 2 was released unoptimized. It was a fucking mess. Since then, They have patched it and improved it.
That shit don't count.
But my question is to you: how many Nintendo games run at 1080p and 60 frames per second on the Switch?
Baron looks like he got his microphone back. He is now
Less than the cell phone.
It's only a couple of games.
Nobody wants to. Everybody ignores that. Like that doesn't exist.
Hey,
Like
hey,
that.
Bear. Everybody here, listen. Everybody here is a fucking adult. No one fucking plays Cooking Mama. 13.
Cooking Mama.
And Z comes in. Z comes in with the right.
See, wait a minute.
We got pay the bills.
Hold up, Z. First of all, Nintendo ain't made no damn Cookie Mama. And last time I checked, these games I'm talking about are the highest rated exclusives this generation.
What are these games?
You can talk about that shit all you want.
What are these games?
Yeah, what games?
What do you mean? What are these games?
Hey, Baron,
what are they?
I'm asking what games are these highest rated exclusives that run at 1080p 60?
Mario Odyssey is definitely one of them.
Madden on Switch.
Arms is definitely one of them.
Arms.
Hold up.
Arms.
Let me make a point here. Let me make a point here with this. You know, go ahead, pay the bills first.
Okay, hold up. We got Mr. 100's lover here. 100 is a thief. He stole my cheeks.
Lord.
He said I found my cheeks last night in the lost and found, although I had to try on 3 pairs of cheeks before confirming they belong to me. God damn. And Harry Helene, he said...
Yo, that name, I can't say that name without laughing, bro.
And Harry Helene, something about Harry Helene, he said Cyberpunk 2077 has tons of brutality, more NPCs, more indoor environments, better AI, more interactive world, etc. But this will also have higher graphic fidelity on next gen. So why believe on 4K and 60 FPS?
All right, so let me go back because people are just talking about 1080p 60 whatever, but no one's considering the build of the game. Yeah. Like the Switch could probably run PS2's God of War 1 and 2 at 1080p 60, but can it run PS4's God of War at 1080p 60?
Oh,
the build of the game comes into play too.
Yeah, you know the build of the game.
All right,
wait, hold on, Barry.
Like the Wolfenstein we had 10, 20 years ago probably could run at 1080p 60 on the Switch. But the one we got now runs at 360.
Porter Rock looks flawless in that ring.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, we have phone games that run at 1080p 60, but they're little bullshit phone games. They're not the games we're playing on consoles and PC.
Okay.
Those phone games can't run those games at 1080p 60. You need powerful hardware. The fact that the Switch just on the strength that it only has 4 gigs of RAM, that's gonna cause issues with a lot of games running at even at 720p. You understand? Listen, Xbox One, the base Xbox One and PlayStation has more memory just for games than the total entire system Switch has.
Oh,
of course there's going to be
Baron is stunned right now.
That's just a technical.
Anything. Took 2
I knew Baron was a hell of a father. I knew Baron was a hell of a father.
Baron is stunned right now. He took 2 major.
Well, this whole thing that is only the developers. If the developer goes on Switch, right, and the Switch only has 4 gigs of RAM, and let's say 3 gigs of it is for gaming. But on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, developers got 5 gigs of RAM for games. There's gonna be concessions, and it's not the developer's fault. What do you want the developer to do when there's only so much access to hardware that the developer has available for?
I knew Baron was a hell of a father.
Okay, now listen. Let me answer. God damn, can I answer?
360p uppercut in the 6.
God almighty.
342 later that round.
And that's very true. And what P-Rock said is very true. But if you have games being able to do it, it's all about them being familiar with the hardware and optimization.
What hardware?
Oh,
the Switch got software, motherfuckers hardware.
Baron is drug swinging right now. Them hits was too hard for him. Swinging up the air right now.
He said throw in the glove towel. Throw in the goddamn towel.
You gonna have to do an Iron Sheik move and hit somebody with a chair right off the ring.
Hey, hold up. Hey, answer this question for me right now. He's trying to slide up under the ropes. So get your fuck ass back in his ring. Now Harry Helene asked a good question here. He said Cyberpunk. You see it there? You can still see his. I want you to answer this, Mamos. From Harry Helene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, did we already answer? Oh
no,
no,
we didn't answer. We just
yeah, there.
Porter Rock went and stole the shit out of Barry.
Oh yeah, we was all in amazement. Cyberpunk 2077 had tons of vertically more NPCs, more indoor environments, all that other stuff. So why I believe on 4K 60 frames per second? Yeah, I mean, again, I agree with Post Up and I agree with Porter Rock that it all depends upon the developer. Now, a developer like CD Projekt Red, to get a game like that on 4K 60 for the next gen consoles, I think they're going to aim for that, and they might be successful. But to expect every single game, I don't know.
It's all about.
Listen, I've already said this is what they can do, right? If they just give us 60 frames per second, they can checkerboard the rest of the shit to 4K.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? We're okay with the checkerboarding now. I think.
No, that's you. Don't speak for everybody. I'm on that, Craig. Don't be lying again, Craig.
No, I'm just wondering.
No, I like it.
Who at this point looking at games like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War and all these other games that are
gotta understand
checkerboarded up, looking beautiful. I think and even games like Spider-Man.
It's about how they spend their resources. It's about depending on when they get the systems and when they run their benchmarks and stuff and see
this is why checkerboarding
what they're
is
capable
okay.
of doing. Then from there it goes to how they want to spend their resources and where they want to spend the most resources in terms of if it's going to be in frame rate of the CPU can have it, but it's really in the CPU as far as the frame rate. Okay. In terms of the graphics and stuff like that, it depends how much they want to use their GPU resources and what they want to do with those resources. All developers are not going to make the same decisions in regards to how they want to spend the resources.
Hey, folks, it's on you on your pool.
Yeah,
pay the bills real quick. Somebody said, Porter Rock, you see it?
Who is that, Harry?
I don't see it.
C-Dub 357.
Who was that?
Oh yeah, he said appreciate the conversation at the top of the show. Certain people don't like hearing black men speak intelligently about race. That's what's up.
So hold on, let me talk on this 4K 60 thing because this fuckboy Supreme next gen try to set the shit. I was not gonna argue with fucking
Porter Rock and
P3.
Listen,
when the fuck motherfucker don't even pay us $20. I wasn't doing it.
How was the chat going?
You gonna leave $20 holler alone, bro?
Have more PC niggas in the chat. I'm a man of very low integrity. Whatever the chat will say, that's what I'm gonna say.
No, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing it with the CUDA course again. But in this panel, y'all more reasonable. Here's the thing: we can't.
Y'all gonna leave that man alone.
We can't. Again, no one could promise guarantee 4K 60 next gen because again, we have to factor in, the improvement of the engines they're trying to do. You could best believe that EA is gonna go from Frostbite 3 to Frostbite 4. You best believe Epic's going to try to push Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 because it's competition. They want their games to look better, so they're going to push that. When they push these new engines, these new physics, those things are going to take up resources. These argument was, well, I could do 4K 60 on a 1080 Ti, but your fucking PC ain't running Frostbite 4. You ain't running the next generation tools that could potentially hog resources so we could get better graphics.
Well, those engines are pretty much there. It's just that we don't see those features because the systems we have now aren't capable of taking advantage or handling them. You notice that by what you see when the games hit on PC, all the additional features and things that the PC have that the console versions don't have. I think in next generation you'll get some of those features that the PC is capable of doing. But then the PC always going to take it to the next level anyway. But you know what I'm saying? But in terms of the engines, they're constantly adding to the engines right now. But by the time next generation come around, they just gonna slap a 5 on it or 3, slap a 3 on it. Because they're always adding to the engine feature-wise anyway.
I think the only games we could guarantee 60, and I mean probably not even native 4K, but I know obviously the first-person shooters because that's a huge deal for multiplayer. The sports games, the racers, the commons and the fighters, the shit that we're used to 60 all the time. But if people think guaranteed Grand Theft Auto 6 4K 60.
But I do agree with you, Porter Rock, because that's why 343 had to redo their whole engine. They had to get all that old engine, that Reach engine. They had to get that out of there in order for them to move on to the next system that's coming down, they had to do a whole new engine.
Well, could the Switch even handle frostbite? No.
Nope,
frostbite. They got frostbite.
That's why they don't have a Madden.
They got frostbite.
Are you serious right now?
They don't have a Madden. They don't have a Call of Duty. They don't have a Battlefield.
Hey, yo, Xbox.
I would debate they don't even have a Wolfenstein, really.
Yeah. That's it.
They put the smell of salt of Baron. He woke up again.
Oh man, I know J-Dub trolling right now. I know he's not dead.
Where all those games at?
Yo, Switch using Cold Front.
let me back up. Let me back up.
Using Cold Front engine.
I want to make sure I understand what he's saying. So you're telling me that you saying the Switch can't run Frostbite? That's what you're telling me.
It runs Frostbite.
it runs Cold Front.
No, because I know he knows better.
I'm just looking for a Madden. I'm just looking for a Madden. What a Madden at?
Can we play?
I'm asking you a question.
Can we get a Madden? Can we get a Battlefield?
Madden can run on the Switch.
You avoid questions really good.
No, I don't think you can run.
Madden can run on the Switch.
Oh my God!
No, it can't run.
No. You say that. Hold on. We gotta have some common sense right now. We gotta have some common sense right now.
Oh my God!
Can it run it in the same capacity as the PS4 and the X?
No.
No, but can they build a version that takes advantage of the Switch hardware?
Yeah. Will they? No.
Can they? Yes. Will they?
No, exactly.
I'm sorry, but y'all really need to look up the history of the Frostbite engine.
Come on, man.
Listen,
engines are built to scale to the lowest common denominator.
Run on that Ignite engine or whatever.
For this, just put this down. So this fool said Switch can't handle Frostbite. That's hilarious.
Ain't no such thing as can't. It can a Switch. It will have to be a dedicated Switch version.
That engine would not have to be downscaled that far.
I'm not saying the engine will have to be downscaled. I'm just saying it won't be able to support all the features and capabilities that the PS box.
Nah, that engine will not be compromised like you think it would.
Nah, you reaching, bro. You reaching, bro.
Hey, hold up. We pay the bills. Mr. Parker said his drunk mouth ass said PS5 in 2019. Hey, Ben, here's the are you making? What are you saying? Because are you saying the Switch is a capable console? Like, you my man. You my man. 50 grand. What are you saying?
I mean, what system is? Getting on high rate.
180p.
28 is 2018. 360.
For mobile platforms, EA has what's called Frostbite Go.
Yeah.
Like I said. Like I was saying, if you truly believe Switch can't run Frostbite, you're a fucking idiot.
It'll be at 180p.
And I'm not talking about no Frostbite Go on no mobile. I'm talking about the Frostbite engine.
No, for the Switch. Hey, no, hold up. For the Switch, EA is using Frostbite Get, as in get your ass out.
Yo, Barry, they just murdered. I dodged the bullet today. They was trying to come at me, but they got I appreciate it, player. You took off today.
He came with that motherfucker. He done ran out of gas. He done beat the fuck out of Baron right now.
Hey, y'all. How soon before we get the Switch XL?
The new Switch.
Switch your ass about it. Shit, I don't know.
Real talk. This last week,
that boy Jay said
it's not happening anytime soon, so don't expect it. It's not happening. There's no need for it.
Listen, Baron, you my man.
Are you sure there's no need for it?
I'm positive there's no need for it.
I mean, I could share my screen and show you what Wolfenstein 2 looks like.
He said what? I didn't even hear what he said. What did he say?
I could pull up my screen and show you what Wolfenstein 2 looks like.
Look,
Mr. Share my screen.
I can't give a damn. Look, this the thing. This the thing for some of y'all that y'all don't get.
No, we don't.
This is the thing that y'all don't get. That most people that buy games, y'all don't understand.
Hey, Baron.
Y'all gotta understand that. I know we live in a world where it's like it has to be 60 frames per second or everything else is trash. But you gotta understand, in the real world, it doesn't work like that.
Hey, okay, man. Hold on. This is the thing. No bait. So FIFA 18 is not using Frostbite on the Switch.
I was just reading that article.
Yeah, it says right here. It says
Oh,
right
you
here.
didn't know that?
Oh shit! I got the limo.
You didn't know that?
Run.
Hey, hold on. Click that link right there.
Know that?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Can I read from the
Skip to like 20 seconds.
It says right here, the team chose to create a custom engine rather than end up having to downsize things and make it just smaller.
I told him that.
Oh
And
my
he gonna
God.
tell me I was wrong.
So what the fuck was Baron arguing about?
Which is as capable as the PS4? Are you
Shit,
sure?
shit.
Look at that.
First off,
That's dunk mode.
I have no clue how the hell you did not know that from the beginning.
Wait, Baron, if you knew this, then why the fuck were you arguing against us?
Hold on. Does anybody in the chat got that throw in the damn towel, Jim?
Oh my God,
Hey y'all, and that's the dock
God.
So,
mode.
Baron, you knew
Once you
this.
undock it.
Oh my God.
Hold up. You knew this, yet you still
Look
want to
at
argue
Z-Face.
it's not as capable.
Baron. Hey, Baron,
Oh,
this shit ugly.
Look at Z-Face.
You gotta understand, the dude had ain't no food. He been shooting steroids all day.
Hey, yo, this shit here is uglier than a Masterpiece nigga. Look at this shit.
Are you sure that you were?
Hey, Baron.
I cannot hear y'all talking at one time.
Hey, listen.
Oh, now you can't
So I
hear
didn't hear
nobody.
shit Porter Rock just said.
Okay, all right.
Oh, wait,
No, what I'm saying is, if you knew this, Baron, then why the hell were you arguing this whole damn time about Switch being just as capable if you knew it wasn't?
They gonna tell me I'm
I mean,
wrong.
well,
Time
that's
out. They won't have
Wait a minute, wait a minute. What you're not understanding is that EA
They
doesn't
getting loud
want
again.
anything on Nintendo. That's
Oh
number
my
one.
God, what is this?
Okay.
He said,
But that wasn't a good comeback. From the article.
You know, the Switch is dog shit. What the fuck is
Let me,
this?
yo, hold
Hold
on.
up.
I just specifically told you that they would have to
take it out.
a dedicated engine for that system, and you told me I was wrong. Come to find out.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Man, that's it, Baron. I'm gonna save you for yourself. I'm gonna save you for yourself, Baron. Don't say shit else.
When you get to that wrestling match and you do that spin move and throw
talk,
your arm
please?
up, you better throw up an L, nigga.
I don't know if I can be your manager anymore. I said, do that.
Can I talk, please?
Face and run for the limo.
Yo,
Come on,
let him
Talk,
let him
please.
speak.
Let him speak.
Let him down the
Here's the
ring.
link for the chat. If you
Tell
don't
you
believe me.
what you're not listening to.
Let him down the ring. Yeah,
God damn.
yeah, let him down
Now,
the ring.
Porter Rock would have took his time and actually researched the rest of the FIFA story. You would have heard they had an interview with the guy from FIFA, and they asked them, are they going to put Frostbite since FIFA's returning on the Switch? They said they're not going to do it because they already used that old engine. They never said Frostbite could not be on Switch. It's just the fact they don't want to do it.
Here's the
Why wouldn't they want?
Hold on.
If it could be on Switch, why wouldn't they put it there in the first place?
Here's a direct
Hey,
quote.
ask EA that. Why did EA not support Nintendo at all? Period. Ask EA.
Here's a direct quote. I'm not closing the door on that possibility. He said, however, we don't want to create a dumbed down version of the Frostbite engine.
Oh my God.
They
That
don't
ain't no
want to
damn
their
quote.
engine with the
Hey, wait,
Switch.
hold
Hold on, look.
That ain't no quote.
I'm just
Get the hell out of
saying.
here.
Hey, yo,
You do the spinning
Yo,
kick.
Baron,
Baron.
Baron,
Hold on,
I don't understand.
Baron. When you
No,
do
I don't
that
understand this is a hard
spinning
conversation.
kick,
Shawn Michaels.
hold on.
Switch doesn't have.
Let me say this.
Wait a minute, hold up.
When you do that spinning kick, my nigga, and you throw that arm up,
Hold
nigga,
up, bro.
put the L up, nigga.
Hold up, man. Hold
Hey,
up.
this is not a hard conversation. Nintendo released hardware that's weaker than the PS4 and
It's
Xbox
really
One.
a fake quote. That was hilarious.
Hey, hold on.
You
How you
do
gonna
that
quote a fake
spinning
quote?
kick and you come up off that floor, nigga. Raise that L up right with you.
Hey, hold up.
Oh man.
You saw that video of him doing that?
Yeah, hold on.
Right there on the screen.
Morgana Days did that.
Mike Anderson said quarterback club 2K19 confirmed 60 frames on the Switch. God
He said.
quarterback
Yo,
club. Hey, yo, I ain't gonna
you
lie,
know what?
Baron. Hey, bro,
Barron standing his ground with that Nintendo shit,
wait,
though.
wait, hey, well, listen.
Yo,
Hey,
I'm not
Baron.
faulted,
Hey,
though.
Baron, can you see the screen? Can you see the podcast?
I speak facts.
I'm
I don't
sharing- hey,
fold to
I'm
no
sharing screen.
bullshit. It's just simple as that.
Are you looking at the screen, fuck nigga? Do you see this shit in?
No, we can't
Yo,
see
hey,
you
look
in
at-
that. You in that. You in that. That thing.
Yo, no,
skip to like 30 seconds.
I did.
Oh, we gotta watch this.
Look at
All right,
Look at this shit, yo. Hey, yo, this motherfucker was made by my child, by my sibling.
What are you talking about?
Resistance Fall of Man on
Yo,
the
that
PS
shit
Vita.
look like motherfucking Quake from the 360. This shit looks bad.
What are y'all looking at? Because I can't see it.
Wolfenstein.
The only thing I could give to them is the fact that they got the game.
Really? Are you serious?
This shit
Come
look
on.
horrible, man.
They look horrible. At least they got the game though.
Horrible.
God,
I gotta hold you down there, man.
Look, WWE 2K18 is, you know,
But there's limits on.
Why you keep bringing up
WWE
2K18?
There's limits.
Because I bought it. I want my $60 back.
All I want to hear though.
You should get it from those guys then.
Oh, all I want to see. Baron into the ring. He has the belt on his
Who's
shoulder.
this? Digital Foundry?
He goes to spin and kick in the Ellis ring.
It's in our chat here. You can look at it.
That shit trash, man. That shit bad, man. God damn. I tried to save you, Baron. Fuck it. You went on, man. You gotta get everybody get Baron.
I mean, any knowledgeable gamer knows the situation with EA and ain't got shit to do with Switch.
Hey, yo, Parker says somebody get Sandman for fuck nigga Baron. Get his ass.
Damn, bro.
So it's Nintendo fault that they
let
the engine on there. It's Nintendo
damn.
stopping them from doing it.
You let it ain't got nothing to do with Nintendo. It ain't got nothing to do with the Switch hardware. This is all EA, bro.
The Switch can't even run No Man's Sky.
Come on now.
Sky, get the hell out of here.
The fact that the Galaxy X9 is more powerful than the Switch, Baron.
Oh, Lord. I wouldn't hear that bullshit.
That's
That's
true.
bull.
No, that's
Nobody
a
will hear
fact.
that.
That's a fact.
That Asus phone is more powerful than it.
Yeah, that Asus.
That ROG phone, that motherfucker.
That motherfucker ain't even one T-flop.
Man.
And it's a 9th generation console. I'm still shaking my head at this. Nintendo had the balls to come out of that bitch and release a 9th gen console. Weaker than 8th generation console. Weaker than an 8th generation console. I'm still shaking my head about that shit right there. Like, god damn, dog. That motherfucker ain't look, fuck the Pro, fuck the X. We talking about base 2013, the FedEx with the connect in that motherfucker. They released a 9th gen console, weaker than that shit right there. God damn. I knew Bear was a hell of a father. This is beyond Z. This is beyond Z. God damn. Oh shit, fuck it. I'm saying, but Baron, it said the N-Cage is more powerful than the Switch.
The N-Cage.
I ain't gonna lie, man. The Switch is
I mean, look. Y'all can continue to be in the now. As y'all continue to be in the now, more and more games, more of these multi-plats are going to be on Switch. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
The next generation
is this quality.
It's been quality.
I said this quality, this shit quality right here.
Baron, all the Switch has is a bunch of fucking indie games. It's not it's not getting the fucking Star Wars Battlefront.
Zaire.
Look at Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh no, Zaire, no, it's for real. Look at that MP chart and tell me what indie games you seen sold on Switch on the MPD chart.
You don't see fucking any MPD goddamn indie games on the goddamn chart. What are you talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So don't sit up here talking about we only got indie games.
Have you ever seen Fortnite on the MPD? Shit sells though, don't it?
You see MPD games listed for Switch on the top sellers list.
Aaron, listen here. As I was saying again, right?
What do you see when you see it? You see exclusive.
Man,
so don't come with
all the Switch has.
Don't come with the bullshit. All right? Don't come with.
Listen, all the Switch has. No, I don't even like Nintendo. I you know what? Say maybe they got some cool games for you weird ass motherfuckers. Cool, but that's some dog shit hardware or some dog shit services.
Oh Lord! Y'all gonna learn the hard way, man.
I'm gonna say this. When Baron says Switch is gonna get more and more third-party games, that don't impress me because he's talking to a group of people who already gets those third-party games.
Facts.
You're bragging about something you're gonna get. Wow, we
first of all,
getting it.
And it's going to be an inferior version.
That doesn't mean anything to us.
Just like, look at this Wolfenstein.
Pump your brakes. I'm not bragging about getting them. I'm stating a point on the subject.
I'm
not bragging about getting them.
We get Call of Duty.
We already get them.
He said we get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. We're like, so? That's crazy. These motherfuckers
got
stands so low.
like E3 and shit, and we out here waiting for fucking Red Dead. Like, what?
Wait. Here's
wait a minute.
No.
I don't know how you talking anyway.
$60 for these shitty ass third party ports on the Switch.
Oh my god, bro!
$60.
Listen, how can it be $60 on the Switch when that bitch $30 brand on the Xbox?
Exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Shout out to my brother, Love. He's Thug Love. He said, "I love my Switch. Let's go, Baron. Let's go play some Zelda." Oops, I forgot my friend code. God damn, dog.
It knows multiplayer, but okay.
Yeah, why is that? Why is it go? We can close the show with it. Why doesn't Mario have a multiplayer, an online multiplayer? That would be ill.
He don't need online multiplayer.
If it got why if it has in-house multiplayer, like Mario,
that is a experience. And no.
Why? I'm just saying if it has local multiplayer. Why
are you talking about Mario Party?
Oh, no, Mario.
No. Talking about like a Mario game. It doesn't need that. Now, if you talk about a Mario Brothers game, then yeah, that should have online. A core Mario game, no.
Well, no, Mario Party that just came out. It doesn't have multiplayer, right?
Yeah, it don't have multiplayer. It don't have online.
Another missed opportunity for Nintendo.
That doesn't make any sense.
He said,
Are y'all really talking about Mario Party?
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, it just came out.
No, it didn't. No, Mario Party ain't out yet, and I don't give a fuck about no Mario Party.
Came out.
It ain't about what you was talking
about. Nobody cares about Mario Party. Like we really talking about Mario Party right now.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah,
another
L. Somebody give a damn about the Mario Party.
Shoving their joysticks up your ass.
Hey, Barry,
you taking it?
Hey, Barry, about that? Hey, Barry, I ain't gonna lie. You my man, 50 grand, right? Fuck nigga. Every game Nintendo makes is like fucking Mario Party. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you saying, Barry? What the fuck is you saying? He said, I got a nosebleed. I don't hear about none of that shit.
You want to know what I'm saying? You want to know what I'm asking, Z? This is what I'm really asking. When is Sony or Microsoft going to create a game on the caliber of Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey? That's really what I'm asking.
Put your head on the turnbuckle. You bugging out.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm asking.
God of War. Witcher 3, like, come on, my nigga.
God of War ain't there, and Witcher 3 ain't there either. So
you smoking crack with the glass dick.
It's already been there. That shit's already been there and done that.
Baron is bitch free basing right now. Baron is bitch free basing. Hey, Baron, we going to this shit. We get the fuck up out of here. We can't take the more of this shit.
You need to because you can't answer that question.
We need Baron for another show.
Nobody in here can answer that question because we already got shit that can do that.
No, we beat Baron. We beat Baron ass so bad that he gonna take the Twitter like Cake Maker. He will not be joining this show ever again. We beat Baron ass so bad today. We gonna pull a Cake Makers on us. You know what I mean?
You can't whoop nobody ass with bullshit. I only say facts, buddy.
All right, I mean. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this show today, hit the like button. If you think Baron got his ass whooped today, hit the like button. You know what I mean? If you think the show is better, and listen, if you think the show was better without King Megaton, hit the goddamn like button. Being messy, right? Start my shit. So I understand some shit. No, I'm saying some shit, man. But you can shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for rocking out with us today. Thank you, Puerto Rock, for joining us, man. You had a great show today. And we shall overcome.
What?
Hey, one last question. One last question before y'all go, though.
What? Jesus died for your sins? What? Talk to me.
Come on, man.
What happened?
Hey, question is, what exclusive y'all playing that ain't Spider-Man for the rest of the year?
What the hell you playing right now?
Damn, all right, I thought so.
Hey, question.
Drive to Sahara,
motherfucker.
About the extended show. All we need from you is a spin
for the rest of the year without actually naming the exclusive. That doesn't make no goddamn sense.
Oh shit! Hey,
Porter, I name the exclusive you're gonna name, but you can't name this exclusive.
Name the multiplayer you gonna be playing.
Oh, fuck up!
Are you serious?
Shut your ass up.
So you think it's acceptable that you have one exclusive for the rest of the year?
Oh, here's no. You think it's acceptable?
How many do you got?
Yo,
the funny this was funny about Barry.
Coming out every month.
Yo, we in July. What big exclusive have you been playing the last 7 months on Switch?
What are you talking about?
Rehash
out, bro.
What?
Octopath Traveler coming out in a week.
No. The last 7 months.
Octo, Dad. What you saying?
Exclusive that came out. What have you got, Porter Rock, besides God of War and your Spider-Man that's coming out 3 months from now?
God of War, Beyond Human, Beyond. What the fuck are you talking about?
Beyond what? Beyond.
Nino
Detroit,
Queen,
you know.
MLB.
Detroit become movie? Nah, you can throw that shit in the trash where it belongs.
Type SKL in the chat.
The trash where it belongs.
I want the
I
chat
agree.
to type
7
SK.
months. What was the game you named in 7 months?
He
Oh my God!
Last big
Look,
title was last December.
Oh yeah, Yakuza.
I want the chat to type SKL for spin kick in the L for Lamb.
Hey, hold on.
He gonna celebrate his signature move. He gonna go fight for his belt, and he gonna put that L up with that signature move.
y'all people, Sony peasants preach that exclusive shit, and then you are dry as fuck for the rest of the year. So
Who's dry as fuck? Yo, now listen, right now, the two biggest
SKL is gonna be rocking on
coming
Twitter.
up.
SKL the chat up. SKL spin kick in the L.
Hold up. Harry Helene said, he said MPD doesn't apply for a console, but they use the man of exclusive game. One fucking exclusive game on Switch is like insulin for somebody dying of diabetes on their deathbed. Oh,
Come on.
damn. Yeah, they done bodied my man out there, man. Hey, Baron,
this is the question though. But I get it. Y'all flip flop all the time. I understand it. It's okay
Man,
now.
don't worry about it, man. You be all right.
360p.
You don't need exclusives anymore because you got those multiplats to look forward to for the rest.
Let me put it this way: while I'm playing Spider-Man in September, what you playing in September? That's exclusive.
Yeah, that's right. Laugh it off.
Yeah, he ain't answering that question.
I can answer that question.
Go ahead, September. What you doing in September?
I get the World Ends With You remake. That's coming out in September. I get that one.
A remake, right? We're playing a brand new IP. What are you talking about?
He didn't say that with it.
Want to go on a brand new IP? Want to go on that too?
They're already getting out a brand new IP in February.
Hold up. The World Ends With You. That was a handheld game.
Yo, he didn't say that with enthusiasm. He didn't yell that shit.
I ain't even buying that shit neither.
Remake. Oh shit!
Hey, yo, man.
We go on Twitter and put pound SKL spin kicking the hell.
My man bragging about 3DS remakes, DS remakes. The World Ends With You remake. Oh, yo, I haven't heard of that game for 10 years.
The Ruhan said RIP, man. Listen, Baron's too goddamn brave. I'm gonna save him for himself. Before he go out there and pull a K Mega or pull a dick. These and his fans don't like me up here arguing, man.
Look, I'm good.
Gotta respect it, man.
I'll have plenty of exclusive content to play on my platform while y'all motherfuckers will be dry in the Sahara. And y'all will flip y'all narrative from exclusives to multiplats because you're not going to have any.
Bro, what is it?
I understand. I get it.
November? Man, that's a long ass wait.
I was saying they get Spider-Man in September and Days Gone February.
Wow,
they're good.
Fire, none but heat.
Man, Barry hasn't been doing shit, man. That's why. Why you think Barry?
Did you just say Days Gone is fire and heat?
Yo, they said Barry. They said Barry Feasting. He got a bad case of jock ass. Get him the fuck out of here, man. Hey, man, hold up, man. Don't be disrespectful now. God damn.
Yo, Maslin, you see that?
Yeah. Hey, the quick question, right? The last question before I get up out of here because it's getting late.
Shit.
Last question. Is any of those games that you just mentioned going to be able to top Breath of the Wild or even top Smash Brothers that comes out?
Oh my god. Bro.
That's his go-to.
That's my
go-to. Breath of the Wild and Smash.
No. I said forget Breath of the Wild.
Yo, you know when Laren is losing the argument when he bring up Smash and Breath of the Wild.
Look, I brought up Smash because it ain't come out yet.
Bring up Breath of the Wild in 2029 and shit.
My thing is, right? My thing is, right? Hold up, Posto. Let me ask you a question.
What's up, SKL, right? My brother? SKL to the day we do. What's up?
Before God of War came out, right? What was the marquee title Sony peasants always talked about before God of War?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep.
Bloodborne.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
And how old is Horizon Zero Dawn?
That Horizon Zero Dawn, that's the death, bro. They don't even talk about that title no more. They didn't.
So I don't like.
Hey, hold up. Let me put it this
I'm
way.
trying to figure out
How about this? I got a question for you, Baron.
Yeah.
Is Super Smash Brothers gonna have a higher Metacritic score than God of War?
It could possibly be.
Get the fuck out of here!
Whoa! Oh, wait a minute! Whoa!
Fuck out of here!
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you even know the last Smash Brothers game Metacritic score?
Nope.
Damn. You sound like a dumbass right now. Why don't you go check that and come back to us?
Don't care.
Oh shit! You're now tuned with Spin Kick Live. We're kicking L's everywhere, all day, every day. Take it out, Z.
He said he's a proud owner of the 4K TV. Guy got the Hockey Shots 2000. Shout out to Parker. Fuck, nigga.
We can even talk about Danger Zone too.
But anyway, listen here, man. We will be playing. Is Soul Calibur coming to the Switch, Baron?
Y'all keep why y'all keep it?
No, he has to fight on Xbox.
Listen to me.
I'm just asking you a question. I want to know.
I'm finna answer your question.
Is Madden?
Soul Calibur comes out in October.
Had to get back to you, right?
Super
Smash Brothers Wii U, 92.
So you saying that Namco?
So you trying to tell me, which is going to be the largest Smash Brothers game ever created, it has no shot of making a 94. That's what you're saying.
No, it's not gonna be higher than God of War.
Listen,
you got to be a jackass to believe that's not possible. But anyway, back to Z. Back to Z.
His rating was a 92. Super Smash Brother for the Wii U got a 92.
Yeah, and this one is going to...
Only 92 motherfuckers bought it. That's why. Yeah. But listen here, ladies and gentlemen, you can answer my question off the air, man. We're gonna hot mic that one, man. I'm gonna save it from your goddamn self.